Welcome to our deep dive into sustainable fashion. We're going beyond the basics today
Yeah,
and really going to help you guys kind of rethink your relationship with your wardrobe. We're going to uncover some pretty shocking truths,
for sure.
explore the core principles of sustainable fashion, and most importantly, equip you with some actionable steps to make a real difference. And don't worry, we've got a whole stack of really fascinating articles and reports and real-world examples to kind of guide us. You
Absolutely.
might be surprised to learn that making just one pair of jeans uses the same amount of water as flushing your toilet 280 times.
Wow.
So buckle up, things are about to get interesting.
Yeah, it's easy to grab a t-shirt off the rag without a second thought, right? But each piece of clothing has a journey, and often it's not a pretty one. What's fascinating is that the fashion industry's carbon footprint is actually bigger than that of international flights and the maritime shipping combined.
Wow,
That's 10% of global carbon emissions.
10%, that's a huge chunk.
Yeah.
So where does all that pollution come from?
Well, it starts with the raw materials. Think about that cotton t-shirt again. Did you know that producing just one can use a staggering 2,700 liters of water?
Oh, wow.
That's enough for someone to drink for over 2 years. And on top of that, conventional cotton farming often involves heavy pesticide and fertilizer use, which pollutes our waterways and harms ecosystems.
Okay, so the journey starts with a pretty significant environmental impact. What happens next?
Then comes the manufacturing process. Factories often release harmful pollutants into the air and water, and the use of toxic dyes further contaminates our water resources. In some areas, rivers are literally running different colors
Really?
because of textile dye pollution.
That's a powerful image and a disturbing one. And of course, we can't forget about the human cost.
Right, the ethical side of this is crucial. Sadly, many garment workers, often in developing countries, face unfair wages, long hours, and unsafe working conditions. The fashion industry often uses very complex and opaque supply chains, making it really difficult to trace where our clothes come from and ensure fair labor practices.
It's starting to feel like a domino effect.
Exactly. After manufacturing, our clothes are shipped across the globe, racking up even more carbon emissions in the process. And once we're done with them, many end up in landfills, contributing to mountains of textile waste. The average American throws away roughly 80 pounds of clothing every year.
It's overwhelming to think about the full life cycle like that and the sheer amount of waste generated. But I have to believe there's a better way.
Absolutely. This linear take, make, dispose model is unsustainable. And that's where the idea of sustainable fashion comes in. It's about shifting to a more circular approach, where we prioritize ethics, ecology, and economy at every step.
Okay, so sustainable fashion is the solution. But what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, first and foremost, it means ensuring fair wages and safe working conditions for everyone involved in the production process. We need to value the people who make our clothes.
That makes perfect sense. What about the environmental side of things?
That's where ecology comes in. It's about minimizing environmental impact through eco-friendly materials, responsible production processes, and reducing waste and pollution.
So it's a holistic approach, thinking about the people and the planet.
Exactly. And then there's the economic aspect. Sustainable fashion also means supporting local economies, fostering sustainable business models, and ensuring that the true cost of production is reflected in the price we pay for our clothes.
It sounds like a pretty radical shift from the way things are currently done.
It is a big change, but it's a
Yeah.
necessary one. And it's important to distinguish between sustainable fashion and ethical fashion, which primarily focuses on worker treatment.
Right.
Sustainable fashion encompasses that ethical component,
Good.
but also extends to environmental and economic factors.
So how can we as individuals start making more sustainable fashion choices? What's a good first step?
A great place to start is your own closet. Take some time to really assess what you already own. Do you wear everything? Does it fit well? And is it in good condition? This is your chance to declutter responsibly by donating, selling, or even upcycling those pieces you no longer wear.
So before we even think about buying anything new, we need to take stock of what we have and let go of what's no longer serving us.
Exactly.
And then when you are ready to add something new, remember, quality over quantity. Invest in fewer pieces that are well-made and durable.
Yeah, I love that. It's about shifting our mindset from fleeting trends to pieces that will last.
What about when we're shopping? Are there certain things we should be looking for?
Think about it this way. A high-quality garment that lasts for years will have a lower environmental impact than a cheaply made piece that falls apart after a few washes. And you'll be saving money in the long run, too.
That makes a lot of sense. So durability, quality materials, and timeless styles, those are key. But what about specific fabrics? Are there certain materials that are more sustainable than others?
Absolutely. Natural fibers like organic cotton, linen, and hemp are great choices. They're grown without harmful pesticides and fertilizers, which is better for both the environment and the farmers. For example, organic cotton uses significantly less water than conventional cotton and produces fewer greenhouse gases.
I've definitely seen more and more organic cotton options popping up. But what about all those synthetic materials out there?
Well, there are some innovative options in the world of synthetics. Recycled materials are becoming increasingly popular. Think recycled plastic bottles, or even discarded fishing nets being transformed into fabrics.
Wow, so our plastic bottles can actually have a second life as clothing.
It's pretty amazing what technology can do. Recycled fabrics are a fantastic way to reduce waste and give new life to materials that would otherwise end up in landfills.
So we've got organic options and recycled options. Are there other sustainable fabric choices out there?
There's a whole world of innovative alternatives emerging. Have you heard of Tencel or Pinatex?
Tencel sounds familiar. Is that the one made from trees?
You got it. Tencel is made from sustainably sourced wood pulp in a closed-loop process. That means it recycles 99% of the solvent used, making it incredibly eco-friendly, and it's known for being super soft and breathable.
Okay, Tencel check. What about Pinatex? That one sounds intriguing.
Get this, Pinatex is made from pineapple leaf fibers. It's a vegan leather alternative that's becoming increasingly popular.
Pineapple leaves. That's brilliant. It seems like the future of fabrics is looking pretty exciting.
There's so much innovation happening, it's a really hopeful sign.
So when we're out shopping, how can we know if a brand is truly committed to sustainability?
Transparency is key. Look for brands that are open about their supply chains and manufacturing processes. They should be using eco-friendly materials and prioritizing fair labor practices.
But there are so many brands out there claiming to be sustainable. How can we know who's walking the walk, not just talking the talk?
Do your research. Look for certifications like Fairtrade GoOTS and Ocotex, which indicate that a brand meets certain environmental and ethical standards.
So these certifications are like a stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Letting us know a brand is legit.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to reach out to brands directly and ask questions about their practices. The more we demand transparency, the more brands will be held accountable.
That's a great reminder that we have power as consumers. We can use our voices and our wallets to support the change we want to see.
Absolutely. And remember, sustainability goes beyond just the big brands. Supporting local designers and artisans is another fantastic way to make a difference.
Shopping local, I love that. It's about investing in our communities. What are some of the benefits?
When you shop locally, you're reducing your carbon footprint because those clothes haven't traveled across the globe to reach you. You're also supporting small businesses and keeping traditional craftsmanship alive. And often you can even connect directly with the people who made your clothes, building a sense of community.
It's a win-win-win for the planet, for the local economy, and for the artisans themselves.
And of course, we can't forget about the treasure trove of sustainable fashion that's already out there, thrifting. Secondhand shopping is a fantastic way to give clothes a second life and reduce textile waste.
I love the thrill of the hunt when I'm thrifting. It's like a sustainable treasure hunt.
Plus, it's incredibly affordable and a great way to develop your own unique style. And with online platforms like ThredUp, Poshmark, and Depop, it's easier than ever to find quality secondhand clothing.
It's like giving pre-loved clothes a new home and keeping them out of landfills.
Exactly. And it's not just about buying new or buying used. We can also extend the life of the clothes we already own through repair and upcycling.
That's where those sewing skills come in handy.
Learning even basic sewing techniques can empower you to fix, tears, replace buttons, or even completely transform an old garment into something new.
I love the creativity of upcycling. Turning an old t-shirt into a tote bag or jeans into shorts, the possibilities are endless.
There are so many resources online, from YouTube tutorials to entire courses dedicated to upcycling and mending.
So we can become our own fashion designers.
Yeah.
And give our clothes a second life.
Well, yeah, exactly. And there are even simpler things we can do to be more sustainable with our wardrobes.
Like what?
Well, for starters, we can wash our clothes less often. Not everything needs to be washed after everywhere. And we can air dry our clothes whenever possible, which saves energy and helps preserve the fabric.
Those are great tips. Simple changes that can make a big difference.
And remember, the 30 wears rule. Before you buy something new, ask yourself if you'll wear it at least 30 times. It encourages you to invest in pieces you truly love and will wear for years to come.
It's all about being more intentional with our purchases.
Yeah.
And thinking about the long-term impact of our choices.
Exactly. And speaking of the future, There are so many exciting innovations happening in the world of sustainable fashion that give me hope.
Let's talk about some of those trends that are shaping a more sustainable future for the industry. What's on the horizon?
One of the biggest movements is towards circular fashion. It's all about designing clothes with their entire life cycle in mind, from the materials used to the end-of-life options.
So it's about closing the loop, minimizing waste, and maximizing reuse.
Exactly. Brands are starting to implement take-back programs, upcycling initiatives, and even designing clothes that can be easily disassembled and recycled.
That's incredible. It seems like the industry is finally starting to embrace the idea of circularity.
And the innovation extends to materials as well. We're seeing incredible advancements in sustainable materials, from organic cotton and hemp to recycled materials like plastic bottles and discarded fishing nets.
We talked about Tencel and Pinatex earlier.
Yeah.
Are there any other cutting-edge fabrics out there?
There's Econol, which is a regenerated nylon made entirely from ocean plastic. It's being used to create everything from swimwear to carpets.
It's amazing to see how creativity and sustainability are coming together to push the boundaries of what's possible in fashion.
And technology is playing a huge role as well, from 3D printing that reduces waste to artificial intelligence that helps optimize supply chains. Technology is driving change at every level.
We're even seeing smart textiles that can monitor our body temperature and adjust accordingly, reducing the need for excessive washing. The possibilities are truly endless. But with all this innovation and progress, what do you think the future holds for sustainable fashion?
I think the future of fashion is brighter than ever. With growing consumer awareness and demand for sustainability, I believe we'll see even more progress in the years to come.
That's encouraging. So it's not just about a few niche brands anymore. Mainstream fashion is actually starting to shift.
Exactly. We're witnessing a real change in values, with more and more people prioritizing ethical and environmental considerations in their fashion choices. And this is driving real change within the industry. Brands are realizing that sustainability isn't just a trend, it's a necessity for their long-term success.
That's a powerful realization. It seems like the fashion industry is at a turning point.
It really does feel that way. And it's not just about brands, it's about all of us making conscious choices as consumers, demanding transparency, and supporting businesses that are doing things the right way.
We truly do have the power to vote with our wallets and shape the future of fashion.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into sustainable fashion, I'd love to leave our listener with this thought. How can you use your personal style to advocate for positive change in the fashion industry?
That's such a great question. It's not just about what we wear,
Yeah.
but how we wear it right.
Exactly. Every purchase is a vote. Every outfit is a statement. What choices will you make? What brands will you support? What stories will you tell?
It's about aligning our style with our values and using our voices to amplify the message of sustainability.
And remember, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Every small step counts, whether you're choosing organic cotton thrifting, a vintage find, repairing a beloved garment, or simply washing your clothes less often. Your actions can contribute to a more sustainable future for fashion.
So it's about progress, not perfection, and finding joy in the journey. It's been so fascinating exploring all of this with you.
The best part is knowing that sustainable fashion isn't about sacrificing style. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values and protect the planet.
It's about style with a purpose and creating a world where fashion is a force for good. We hope this deep dive has inspired you to look at your wardrobe and the fashion industry as a whole with fresh eyes. Keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep using your style to make a difference.